All right, to all my followers out there, this is the next horrible mower I'm going to work on. I'm going to call this one Vicki. I used to date a girl named Vicki. She was really pretty with long, dark brown hair, of Italian heritage. I think that's the only Vicki I ever dated. That was back in high school. Back in the 60s, the 1960s. So this mower isn't that old, but it's old and in very sad condition. You see all the mud and dirt around here. I have no idea if I can get this one going or not. I bought it for the deck because I needed a short crankshaft deck because I've got a short crankshaft engine over there on that wood block. And so if I can't get the engine running on Vicki, I'm going to pull it off and give that engine a try. I don't know if either one of them are good, but I've got to see if this engine has any chance of running, because if you try and take these off, oftentimes these screws, that mounting bolts, are so old and decrepit that they shear off, and then you've got a problem. So we're going to have fun working on Vicki and see if she has any hope of running. The first thing we got to do, for me anyway, the thing I check is I'm going to take this little cover off and get the spring off and see if this engine has compression. If it doesn't, then it'll be scrapped. So let me set this camera in the holder, and we're gonna see what's what with Vicki. This is the week of the presidential election, and Donald Trump just won Arizona. So I think his total electoral votes were 312. Amazing. Also, I'm going to go ahead and take this. You can tell this is an old one because this air filter here, air filter holder, is metal. And, man, they haven't made those in a while. There is no rewinder that came on this mower. That's pretty horrible looking. But all the springs are there, even the small one. Those often get lost, so that air filter is going to go in the trash. That's from the mower I was working on yesterday, trying to get the choke to work on that, the automatic choke. Let me show you the springs here. So there's two springs we're gonna need. There's that one, and that little guy down there is going to attach to, oh, that looks like it's been broken off. Huh. Yeah, that's been broken off. There's a plate that sticks up there that one attaches to. I may have a spare one of these, but honestly, these things will work fine just off of that one spring. So let's see if I can get that little thing off there. I need a 1/4 inch socket. Let me grab that. Not easy doing all this with one hand. I think I've got it on low torque. Let me crank that up a little bit. Hopefully there's no spiders up under there. Don't see any. Don't want to lose that little screw. I'm not sure how old this mower is because the rewinder is missing. And that's where you get your serial number. Let's see what it says on this Murray sticker here. Maybe it'll tell me something. Yep, manufacture date is December 16th, 2004. I bought this mower from a salvage yard nearby for, you're gonna think I'm crazy. I paid $30 for this thing, but I wanted this deck. I wanted to put that engine on it, but I gotta make sure this engine's bad before I do that. But I mean, you know, you think about it, it's not that bad of a deal because these tanks, if this thing's not rusted out, these tanks sell for about $25 on the internet. And it's got, you know, it's got some parts on it. So we got that off. Now let me get my spring puller, which you guys are probably familiar with by now. Make you something like this, strong piece of wire, and you hook it on this end of this spring right here. And this is the reason I'm doing this, is I want to check for compression. And I'm sure that's rusted and frozen. It's hanging off there, that wire right there. You can see that. So I'm sure it's all rusted up. Yep, it's so rusted it broke the handle when somebody tried to push it down. So let me see, get around this, see which side the hook is on. It's going to be on the underside there. I'm going to pull this towards me and down. All right, we got that off there. So now, get my puller off. So this is now going to move away. That cable's so rusty and frozen, it's keeping it from moving away. But now I can turn the flywheel. So let's do that. Oh my, I think it's got compression. I can't just throw this engine away without checking it. So how about that? I'm gonna set the phone down. Next thing to do is to check and see if it has any oil in it. If it does, maybe this old gal's Vicki is gonna run. Wouldn't that be something? Looks like it's got oil. This thing has been sitting out in the weather at a salvage yard for God knows how long. I don't usually watch Meet the Press this morning on Sundays, but I watched it today because I wanted to see what their reaction was to Donald Trump winning the presidential election here in November of 2024. So I got the dipstick back in. I tilted this mower in order to get it up on the table, so I've got it wasn't an accurate reading. Oh my goodness, it is perfect. It has the perfect level of oil, and the oil is super clean. That is amazing. You don't see that, people. Not on a piece of junk like this. Wow. I'm starting to feel better about Vicki. I'll be darned. I'll be darned. Okay, let's look underneath her and see what the blade situation looks like. See how many critters we've got living up under there. There's old screws falling off. Oh, there's 3/8. I love finding those. I don't know what that goes to. I'll just throw that one in the trash. Yeah, this old rusty screw. So there's the blade. Whoever put that on, you know what? That's Truth is, I made a mistake on this. That is not a, this deck is not for a short shaft engine, but that's okay. I'll try and get a longer adapter on there if I can get Vicki running and make this my mower. Go back and get another short shaft deck. Because this blade is way too up high. Let me show you what I mean. Somebody's already worked with this and put it on the wrong deck or changed the adapter or something. See the distance between the edge of the deck and the blade? It's never going to cut grass good with that. That blade needs to be down here close to this edge for it to cut grass. And you know, people will get these and somebody's done it wrong, like this one. They've got the wrong adapter. It needs a long adapter on that short shaft if this setup is going to work. So that's all going to have to change. I get to go back to the salvage yard here. I think there's a salvage yard near here with mowers, riding mowers, old push mowers. I love going out there. So that's going to have to come off. The blade is not, yeah, it's pretty old, pretty worn out. I don't see any fuel leaking out of the tank, so that's good. I'm going to lay her back down here, and we're going to take a look at what condition this tank is in. Clean up some of this. Now this is definitely the wrong spark plug. This goes to a modern Briggs and Stratton, like a 500E, that kind of thing. The ones with the big plastic carburetors. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that out because I know this is wrong. It does not belong in there. It's fairly clean. I don't know what that means, if anybody ever ran that, but let me find a spark plug that's sized right for this. Let's see, here's one. Let's try that. I'm gonna put this in here. This is one I had in my last mower. I know it fires, and it was doing okay, but it wouldn't run smooth because I had a bad carburetor. I switched out Ursula today. That's the last one I worked on. Let me get this plug in there. Okay, got that on there. I'll leave that unplugged for safety. I don't see anything right now other than the tank I want to look at. A lot of dirt and mud up in there. Let me get this little screw out. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get this tank off for you. So I need a 1/2 inch socket and a 3/8 socket to get this off, and we can find my extension. Go ahead and take a look inside this tank and see what, oh my goodness, that is super clean. I can't believe how lucky I am on this engine. Wow. I expected that to be full of rust, but that's going to be good. That's going to be a good tank. Let's get this tank off here again, and then we'll take a break. There's the 1/2, and here comes the 3/8. Got the 3/8 off. Okay, and now to get this tank off, all you do is you just start wiggling, and this piece here will slip out now. You got to have that when you reinstall it, otherwise you'll break the tank up at the top if you cinch down on it too much. So you got to hang on to this and reinstall that. So wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, and pull it towards you a little bit, and wiggle and pull towards you. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Still wiggling. All right. And so now it's loose. I'm hoping you can see this. Let's see, let me grab my phone. So that's there. So now you take this tank and you turn it to get it past that L. And if it starts binding on you, it's gotta drop down just a little before you can turn it and see it's not. It hadn't dropped down. There we go. I don't know if you can see that. Now I got some metals showing there. Trying to do this with one hand, it ain't easy. There we go. Okay. So I did not break that. And all that's still there. I'm going to test for these. If I come back with a pink thumb, it needs to be replaced. And there's my pink thumb. That'll have to be replaced. I'll probably put a new carburetor on there. All right, so we got that off. I'm going to take a break here, and we'll come back and keep working with Vicki.